get it.
All right, all right. What's going on? How's everybody doing?
Hello, all my sacred cows.
It's- I will not be a sacred cow. We have no sacred cows. You
James,
just
I
won't talk
feel
about
like you people think that I have you wrapped around my little finger, but
Right. It's the witchcraft on
if
it.
anyone knows James, they know he's not one to be controlled.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. It's that damn witchcraft. We must
It's
stop it.
yeah.
So sad. So sad. So how you doing, Sarah?
I am good. I'm good. I actually I was bemoaning the fact that it was daylight savings yesterday for a lot of reasons. Well, I do love that now it gets light early because I'm a morning person, so I love that. But
Mhm.
kids don't know what daylight savings is, so my toddler was up at like 4 a.m. and I was like, "Woo!"
Right.
But I was like, oh man, like I really wish Sister Wives fell back to an hour and was on at 9 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock. But I fell asleep at like 8:30 and I woke up at like 9:45, jazzed, ready to go for the episode.
Right. Right. Yeah, it was the same thing. Like it was weird. I fell asleep too. And actually I didn't get up until about 10:15.
Ah,
But thank goodness that TLC dropped the bag and had it on a platform where they run a bunch of commercials, so I was able to catch up. And
yeah. So so I re-upped my YouTube TV subscription, and
mm,
they have this really cool feature. I mean, it's probably standard now, but I really haven't had cable for a long time. But you can restart from the beginning of
right,
shows. Yeah.
right. That's how I do it. I just restart from the beginning, start from the beginning, watch it all the way through, and then just jump commercials, the
Yeah.
commercial breaks, which is annoying anyway because 9 times out of 10 they give you like a little teaser, like,
Mhm.
"Oh, Robin, you're terrible," and then it'll go to the regular scene and be like, Robin, if I didn't love you so much, I would say something like, you're terrible. You know,
Yeah.
out
You know
of
what's
context.
funny is I listened to Ace and Caitlin's Shit Talk podcast, and a couple episodes back when it was
Mhm.
like a noticeable amount of reused footage, like everybody was talking about how reused everything was. Ace calculated like how much actual new footage was in the episode. It was like 8 minutes. And it was like everything else was reused.
Right. Run that B roll, that
Yeah. So
beautiful B roll footage.
it's like you got plenty of time. You got plenty of time.
Right, right.
It's actually going to be new. It's like you got a 50-50 shot.
Yeah, and it's such a I don't know. Like I think they're TLC, this is their attempt maybe to juice as much as they can out of these last few seasons, I guess. Just by the way they're kind of doing things and handling things, because some of the conversations that we're privy to now are conversations that really have no bearing, real essential bearing on the show to tell us where everybody is and what's going on, if you
Mhm.
know what I mean. So
Yeah.
it's just like it's a weird place.
Yeah.
But we got a couple super chats
Yeah. A
right
couple
off the
super
rip.
chats.
Super chat time. Got Kika Lika coming through with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Kika Lika. My thing looks crazy. My screen
Yeah.
looks crazy.
It almost looks like it's shorting out a little bit. I don't know if it's like a wire or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like a buffer thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm like, somebody gonna have a heart attack or get messed up. Kika Lika with the $5 super chat
Thank
as a
you.
proud sacred cow. I'd be fine never seeing Cody's sacred cow again. All of a sudden, people think I control Cody. Move, bitch. Move off my TV.
I know. It's like this is not a new concept. Like this is literally the plot line of this show is that
Right,
your your effect on this family and particularly Cody.
right, exactly. Like she's acting like, and this is that weird part where she's actually doing the thing that she used to do to his sister wives. I guess maybe that was the service that the OG3 performed for the rest of us, the
Mhm.
audience members, because while they were present, she just did this to them. But now she's at that stage, now that they're gone, she's trying to do it to us, where she's trying to pretend like something is new that's been a core function of your relationship the entire time you've been a part of the Brown family.
And
And
I'm
now you're
so glad, and we're going to spend a deal of time on this convo between Janelle and Cody because that was some tea. That was
right.
like, I mean, was it the juiciest thing to ever happen on reality TV? No. But
Right.
like we're really reaching this season so far, and I was satiated by this
Right.
conversation. But I'm so glad Janelle, because Cody tried to make it seem like, oh, it's been the past 2 years. And Janelle was like, no, no, no. You have always showed a preference for Robin.
Right. Right. Right.
Janelle, I don't know, James, if you maybe you want to like go out and come back in.
Yeah, I'll try it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nope. Did nothing.
Uh,
Nothing. Well, we got something from Tracy's Fractured History and More, 499 Super Chat. Love yous too. Loves yous too.
We love
Philadelphia. Right. Yous guys.
Yous guys.
Yeah, right. That's a Philly thing. So, are you from Philly, Tracy? Let me know. But thank you guys so much for the super chats. Let me give you guys a little something to appreciate out of a sign of appreciation. I am going to, you know what? Before we get into it for a second, let me just bounce out real quick. I'm going to see if I can maybe unplug something.
Don't you think like that? Da, na, 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 na. This is me. What is it when you fill in the dead air? What's that called? I was gonna say vibing, but that's not it. Did you guys hear about the McMansion selling? When James comes back, we'll talk about that. But I just saw riffing. Thank you, BCAT. I'm like vibing. I'm vibing. I'm riffing. Yeah. So I was sent the listing. It's sold. That's legit. Someone commented on my Instagram that they thought it was doctored. I mean, I guess I didn't doctor it. So unless it was sent to me doctored, it was not. I did not doctor it, but it sold for like $1.7 million. And here, hold on. 1.7 million. And that includes the 2 acres. That's why it sold for a little bit, because I was like, how did they get more than they were asking for? Yeah.
All right. I think I fixed it. I
was
did the old
I was
unplug it.
riffing, James. I was riffing.
I can hear you. They sold the McMansion.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I know.
Okay. Well, Cody and Robin, cheers. Coming up. Now you got $1.7 million to mess around with.
And
Good luck.
apparently, from what I was sent, they whoever purchased the home bought the 2 acres along with it. So that's why it sold for a little bit more than the initial listing price. So apparently, so many things with this. Real quick, we'll talk about the house for like 5 minutes. A lot of like controversy or like discussion was had because, you know, they list the house for sale at the end of August. Then in mid-September, Christine sues Cody. Then they pull the house off the market. And a lot of people were saying, oh, that's because there's like contingencies in this lawsuit that Cody can't make like big purchases or like, you know. But apparently there was someone posted in Reddit that, let me pull it up. They're like a family lawyer, a family law attorney in Utah. And they were saying that that language that's in the lawsuit about like not getting rid of property and stuff or not acquiring new property, like doesn't really apply. Like it's standard language and it doesn't really apply to Cody and Christine, because they had divided their assets before. Like she took the house, like there's a clear record of she signed Coyote Pass, her stake in Coyote Pass over to him. She walked away with her house. Like you could call that a division of the assets. So people were thinking that like Cody's not going to go to jail basically for selling.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that, it's funny. Thank you for that, I guess. But it's funny because I came out with a video not long after that because I saw a lot of the excitement and fervor about Cody potentially going to jail and getting in trouble.
Yeah.
And my whole purpose of my video was we have to manage our expectations because I don't think that this is going to happen. Like this isn't really. If you ever talk to anybody who's been through the family court system, especially somebody on the custodial side of family court where they're trying to sue for child support to get it, this isn't a thing. Like they don't go and start taking
Cody
houses.
goes arrears in child support and all that.
Right, but he'd have to be crazy deep.
Right, but they haven't even established what he's going to pay it. But then it didn't. Someone famous, I feel like, got put in jail for back child support, like a musician.
Well, you can go to jail for not. Well, you can go to jail. You can lose your license. There's a lot of things that they can do. They can garnish your wages
for you for that child support. That I do believe that they would go after Cody for.
Yeah, they'll go after your wages and things of that nature. They'll take your
my
tax
gosh,
return.
I'm following this. TikTok sucks you into these like crazy stories. So first there was the rug drama. Did you hear about that? About this woman who discovered there was a rug like buried 2 feet deep in her like front lawn, and it ended up getting excavated and dug up by police because like who the fuck buries a rug like 2 feet
without a body in it? Yeah,
and it ended up being a nothing burger, but it had TikTok captivated and I was sucked in. It was like a 30-part video story. Then now there is this family of 6 that's living in a 1-bedroom apartment. It's a mom, a dad, and like the rest are all kids. The parents are sleeping in the bedroom and all the kids are sleeping on like foam mats in the living room. People are all up in arms about it. But the dad doesn't want to get a job. He said on like a live that he doesn't want to get a job, that he has a W-2. And someone pointed out like the reason why he doesn't want a W-2 is because someone's coming after him for child support.
Right. And, I mean, and like if you like anybody familiar with that whole system, it's rife with people who quit jobs. Like they'll start jobs, start working that job. Then as soon as the child support people start attaching their garnishing their wages, they quit the job or they refuse to take promotions, refuse to take increases in pay because they just don't want to pay child support. And there are some jurisdictions, like I think California is actually one, where if you owe child support, they will get you a job. Like if you sit there, you go to court and say, I can't find work. They will find you a job. And then start garnishing your wages.
Like they're like, my brother manages this McDonald's, buddy. Like, come on, let's go. Like,
right.
You start tomorrow.
You will get paid.
Yeah.
But it's such a far, like the whole thing is that, like you were kind of saying, like it's at a point now where she's suing for it. She's not guaranteed any money, even though she's most likely. I would be very surprised if she didn't get anything. I'll be very surprised. She's going to get some money.
So that's why I was thinking, and I want to talk about this comment that you put up because first of all, I thought it said $0 a month. I think I need a new prescription, $50 a month.
Yeah.
But I was thinking maybe Christine, like maybe there is all this contingencies about obviously not like making big purchases when you get sued. That makes sense to me. But maybe Christine is cool with it if he is selling to pay off Janelle and Mary and then give her a lump sum for child support. Maybe. Who knows?
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know if you can do lump sums. Like, I don't
Oh,
know if you can. Yeah, I don't think you can do lump sums. Like, because the way they do the child
no
support.
idea how any of that works.
Yeah. Well, the only way that I can see you doing a lump sum is if you owe arrears or back child support. So if you owe like money from before, you
Yeah.
could say, I'll stroke you out a check for, like, say I owe $10,000 in arrears or $50,000 in arrears. If I have the money, I can stroke out a check and give it to them, and then whatever I owe moving forward, they just deduct, and I'll make that payment.
Mhm.
But if you don't have it, which most people don't, they'll just roll it into your monthly child support. So instead of you paying, say, $50 a month, if you're paying that low, then you're only paying like $65.
Tyrese Gibson was jailed for failure to pay child support.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
I was like, I remember seeing that in the news and being like, whoa, they really put someone in jail for that?
Yeah, they put your ass in jail
Yeah.
for non-payment, but usually it's
You
like
must have
it's
owed a
egregious.
lot.
Yeah, usually it's egregious.
Yeah.
It's not like you miss one payment and they send people out to your house.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like that.
They
So
go
it's
after
usually
they
you
like
missed a
garnish
few.
your wages and all that. So how do you
Right.
like you have to like totally evade a lot of things in order to end up in jail.
Yeah, yeah. Because like even with the person that mentioned earlier, they were supposed to get $50. Like, you have people literally in the system. You have people who are supposed to pay like 35, $50 a month for a child or two children,
Oh,
and they'll be in arrears for tens of thousands of dollars. You
wow.
know, paying like $50 a month. Like, you know how many months you gotta miss to pay owe $10,000? You're like, that point, you're just not paying. And
Yeah.
even then, they might just start throwing them in jail or start taking their money because of the fact that if you put somebody in jail, even though it's a punishment, it hurts them. The main purpose of child support is to take care of the child. And if they're in jail, they're not working. And if they're in jail, they're not making money, so they can't make those payments.
Oh,
So
that makes a lot of sense
yeah,
actually.
so the logic is like, start paying, start paying, start
You
paying, and then
can't
you basically have to show that you're not doing it.
you can't get blood from a what's
Blood from a stone. Yeah,
yeah,
from a
yeah,
stone.
whatever
Yeah,
that saying is. Yeah.
yeah. So that's why they do it that way. But I mean, it's like family court is not punishment. It's not punitive. Like, so they're not going to punish you because you don't spend time with your kids or you're a shit parent. They
You
just
know, did you
they'll
watch
talk crap
Love
to
is
you.
Blind? Did you watch Love is Blind?
Yes.
Okay, this guy Tyler, I like
Mhm.
I guess someone commented, "Take off your rose-colored glasses, Sarah." Maybe I just give humanity too much credit. I don't know. It is mind-boggling to me. I thought Cody, honestly, and I know that a lot of people have like not great relationships with family members, parents, siblings, whatever. Um, but I never really thought that like I would see so many examples of people just noping out of being a parent. Like I did it for a little bit, wasn't into it, got a better offer, got cast on a reality show. So I thought I'd do that. Never,
Right.
and like Cody really seems like he's just resigned to the fact that like just didn't work out, cut his losses, like these people aren't actual human beings.
Well, because I think that Cody represents a contingent of parent that even though he has kids, he pretty much raised those kids, was around those kids, and a part of those kids' lives. If he doesn't get along with their mother or the parent, then he doesn't get along with the children. If he gets along with the parent, then he's hyper involved with those children. And so because he's in a good place with Robin, and part of the contingency for him to be with Robin is for him to take care of those kids, he's about those kids. But
Right.
if in that same thing, like, what's weird to me is I see him do it with his older kids. He could also do that with his younger kids. Because if Robin was the type of parent who didn't give a damn whether he spent time with Saul and Ari, then there's a possibility Cody wouldn't spend as much time or cater to them as much as he does.
And you know
You
what's
know
so
what I
funny
mean?
in this episode, so we can bring it back to this episode, when he's sitting down with Janelle and he's like, well, Janelle, you know, like my attention is always towards the little kids. It's like Saul and Ari are the ages that like Logan and Aspen were already raising other kids. So like, what are you talking about?
Right, right,
Like,
right.
like you had already dipped out on your parental responsibility by the time your kids were, what, Saul's like 12 or 13, right?
Yeah,
Ari's
yeah.
like 8 or 9.
Well,
Aspen
no.
people to bed at 10.
Yeah, in the show, I guess he was about 12 because 2 years later, uh Truly is 14 now, and
Oh,
Saul is about
he's only like a couple years younger than her. Like
like
not
a
even,
year younger. Yeah, he's a year younger. Because if you remember, they had the baby while they were still on the show. They first got on the show, and
yeah.
that next season they had Solomon.
Yeah.
So it's they're tight, and so it is weird that like, oh, I'm only concerned about the little kids. Truly is like only months older than Solomon, right? Like you're
Saul
saying, like she's
closer
40.
age to being able to have a driver's license than he was to wearing diapers. So like he's not a tender.
Right, right. He's not a little baby. Like
Someone
he's
pointed
trying to
out,
pretend like
so Ari will be 9 in January, and the chat says that Saul is 13. So
yeah, okay, that makes sense.
yeah.
Uh,
Someone said they're fully grown chickens. They're not tenders anymore.
well, I mean, at minimum, he's a teenager right now. Like he's a
Yeah,
teenager, so
he has
it's not
attitude and
right.
Legos for days, apparently.
Well, got 1.7 million, so he's doing all right.
I don't
He's
know. I don't know.
rich.
Someone called on in my Facebook group, someone called their new house the debt castle. I was like, that's what I'm gonna call it now in my video. It's not a McMansion, it's a debt castle.
Right, right. Well, only if like because the ironic part about it is that they can pour all that money. Like because even just from the tax purposes, it only really makes sense for them to sell their house if they have another property to invest in. So they
Mhm,
could take the money that they receive from the McMansion and dump it all into the new house. And
mhm.
so whatever's left over, because I know they have like the original mortgage and I think another equity loan on top of
There's
it.
a lot of like transactions. So like my cousin, when he bought his house, the first house that he was going to buy fell through because the sale of his house fell through. So it kind of was like a domino effect. So like his
Mhm.
house, the buyer he had for his house fell through. So that meant that his sale, the house he was buying fell through. He ended up selling his house and he moved into a different house, which they love. But so I know that had something to do with it, like contingency
Mhm.
or whatever. So
Right,
I don't
right.
know if that happened here, but I would like to think that maybe Cody said, "Hey, Christine, let me sell this house and I'll cut y'all your fair shares." But I know
Yeah,
Cody,
I doubt.
that didn't
Yeah,
happen, right? I'd
I
like,
doubt it. Because I can see him stealing the money. Like I can sure enough see him stealing it.
oh,
Because technically he still owes Janelle and Mary money on the old house.
or he doesn't want to do Janelle any favors by discussing what's rightfully hers.
Right, right. Yeah, so I mean, but what I said was that he owes Janelle and Mary money on the McMansion. So before he gives Christine anything technically related to the McMansion, he should pay them back their money. Like
Yeah.
he owes money all over town. Like that's part of the complication that Cody has is that he owes so many people so much money, and he's kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul while he's doing it. It's just insanity. But
Yeah.
oh, we have some super chats, and then we'll get into it. But Melinda Hensley with a $1.99 super chat. No message, just the love. Thank you so much, Melissa. Appreciate you. We have Kika Lika with a $5 super chat. Janelle looking dead down the camera. David raised all his kids after his wife died and still has a good relationship with them. Love this new Jay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Janelle's coming out a little bit. Like she's great breaking that shell, and I don't think Cody's ready for
Yep.
it. We got JT Pittman with the $5 super chat. Love from Richmond, Virginia. I love Christine, but I could live without macaroni sounds. I
You
guess he means when I
it's a lot.
yeah.
Okay, I get both sides of the argument. Like on the one hand, get it, Christine. I get that she like has never had someone validate her for being her. Like I was talking to my Facebook moderators and I said, I love David for her because David lets Christine be uniquely herself. Like
Mhm.
he went to the Little Mermaid as their second date. Like that completely checks out as a date Christine would want to go on, right? That's totally Christine.
Right.
He doesn't dull Christine's sparkle. And I love that.
Mhm.
He he says things to Christine like, I would have married you yesterday. These are the things that fill Christine's bucket, right? And I love that
Mhm.
she's finally getting that. But do I need to see open mouth tonguing by anybody on my TV? No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's trying to get it. Like I
exactly.
get it. I guess.
I mean, I can only hate
Yeah.
so much because I'm actually really happy for her, but
Yeah.
it's like mom and dad, come on. And I think that that's where her kids are coming from too. You know, it's like they're not begrudging her happiness. They just don't want to. They don't want it in their face.
Right. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I think that there's a certain rebellion from Christine, maybe because she's been so held back for so long that
Yeah,
it almost reaches a level of frustration. So yeah, she's gonna go that extra mile to show how serious she is about getting it. So I think that's kind of where she is
yeah.
with it. But we got another one from Kika Lika, $5 super chat. Sarah, do you watch Do We Know Them? If not, you should. You sound like a girly. It's a pot about online drama mostly.
I have
So,
I do know the Do We Know Them podcast. I don't watch them regularly, but I've seen like several of their episodes and I like them. They're hysterical. So thank you.
there you go. On Nitty with the 4.99 super chat. What does he expect his relationship with his kids to be in the afterlife? He may have lost his faith, but he still believes he should run a kingdom. Well, the sad part is that in a weird way, I can see the logic that Cody has in that situation.
Yeah.
Because when they die, if he's the God and Lord of that kingdom, they have to go to him to get entrance into that kingdom.
Ah.
So either way, they would have to come to him and apologize.
Yeah, I find it so interesting, and I mentioned this in my last video that Cody is so narcissistic that he's picking and choosing the points of his own religious faith that he's going to acknowledge because if it's if it paints him in a bad light, it's a farce. It's not real. But
Right,
if it's his wives or his kids doing something against him, then all of a sudden it's gospel.
right.
Yeah.
It's the welcome to backsliding, Cody.
Yeah.
He's a backslider.
Yeah.
So, and last one. Well, not last one, but
Yeah.
next one. Victoria Perry, $5 super chat. David lets her bejeweled. A
Yeah.
little Taylor Swift reference tonight. Okay, okay.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Like, and because I recognize this in my own husband. Like, my couple years ago, so Hocus Pocus is one of my favorite movies. I could watch it any day of the week, any time
Mm,
of the year. I'm always down to watch Hocus Pocus. and it was playing in theaters. And I was, I don't know, like 7 or something the first time I ever saw the movie. I never saw it in theaters. So my husband took me to see the movie because he knew that that meant something to me, right? Is that something he necessarily wanted to do? No.
Right.
Like, he always like rolls his eyes when I put it on, but like he was like, you know what? That's like totally you, and I love that for you. David recognizes what is uniquely Christine and loves that for her. And I love that for them because then
Mhm.
she's on like razor scooters and whatever in Moab and being all rough and tumbly for him, you know?
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, but let me give the super chat a little something something. Appreciate you guys.
Okay.
All right. All right. So getting into the episode, uh, what did you think about the well, first we talk about we'll center on Christine and the dinner, and then we'll work our way to Janelle. What did you think about like certain issues like the tattoos, the matching tattoos for Christine and the big man?
So
Couple tattoos.
I
You
don't
getting it?
have any
You
time.
getting it done? You get it done?
No. Love my husband. Matching, I don't know. Like, I think my husband probably would get a matching tattoo with me, but he would get like tomorrow he is getting a chess piece of a drawing that my daughter did. And so it's a drawing my daughter did of my son. So he's getting that on his chest. So my husband's not really like, I don't know, super like critical of like what he's willing to get tattooed on him. So I think
Uh-huh.
if I was like, oh my God, can we get like matching live, laugh, love? He probably wouldn't do that. But I don't know. He probably would. I don't think I would.
Okay. Yeah, I think that maybe because I have some hesitation with it too,
Yeah.
especially getting tattoos that are closely related to like I don't do people's names. Like I'm not a big fan of going out getting like your boyfriend or girlfriend, husband, wife name on you. Kids a little more amenable, but I think that it comes down to maybe like once that first one. Like I don't have any tattoos because even though I like tattoos and I don't mind tattoos, I just don't think they would look right on me. Like the kind of tattoo I want, it doesn't work on my pigmentation, and I don't heal right enough for that kind of stuff. So it doesn't work for me. So I would be very hesitant to get somebody's name on me already because I don't like tattoos for me. But if I had like 50 tattoos already, like one more tattoo might not be mean as much. So
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
that's where they are. And
Yeah.
like you said, it's something I think Christine always wanted to do.
Yeah. Now,
So
what I did think was interesting because it's been a while since we've seen a lot of the kids. I just thought
mhm.
it was so strange, Peyton calling David Richard. Some of their jokes, I'm like, are these jokes? Like, because we see that with Tony too, right? Like Tony
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
these like they're very they have very much like put down humor, like which we know, like McKelty has said on our Patreon, like the way their love languages with each other is to give each other a hard time. That's how you know they like you, basically. So
Mhm.
I just thought it was like odd because I'm like, what does that even? And David was like, is that from a show? Like, what does that even mean? I thought David handled that really well. So I was,
Right,
yeah.
right. I have a theory. I have a theory. He called him Richard, and everybody, what is Richard? What does that mean? Where is it from? Like you said, is that from a show? When he called him Richard, I look at it from the respect of what is the nickname for Richard? Like, James is Jimmy, Jim, uh, you know, uh, Thomas could be Tom, Christine could be Chris,
Oh,
Richard,
I got it.
yeah, yeah. So, he basically called him a dick. Like, so
Okay.
that's where I think he was going with it. it was funny to
That
me
went over
that
my head. And see this. Thank you. And the chat's
yeah,
like, yeah, duh, Sarah. Richard means dead.
yeah. So
That
that's
went
what it is. Like I think that's what he was doing.
right over my. Like I don't get. Is that supposed to be funny? Like
Well, it's
his
not
name's David, right?
exceptionally clever. Yeah, it's not exceptionally clever. That's what I thought was funny when McKelty was like, we're like super witty and we're funny and stuff and we're sarcastic and if you get along with our, but I like if you're going to be witty, I think witty is clever.
Yes.
So if you turn a phrase, or if you say something in relationship to one thing and it means another thing, like a pun or whatever the case would be, even an analogy, okay, cool, I'm with that. But just to say like be rude, that's not clever and it's not funny.
So like, why does everything, all of their quips and jabs, just like tiptoe that line of being like, that was kind of rude. Like,
Yeah,
ooh,
yeah. You're kind of being an ass now. It's not funny.
being like, good for you. You didn't fall into a life of addiction after your wife died. It's like, thanks.
Yeah, right. Okay. It was a tragedy though, right? Like we
Yeah.
clear on that. It's a tragedy.
Yeah.
It's not something to play around with, but okay, I guess.
For
Yeah.
example, an example of clever would be Janelle saying, like, I haven't met David yet, but I already like him because he raised his kids and he still has a relationship with them. But chung.
Yeah, yeah. You get tired. And even like I think David's clever in the fact that like the whole thing he did with the beer and Skittles or the nachos. Like, okay, I get what you're doing, and you can always say, I didn't mean anything. That's cute, that's clever, that's funny. But what they do is just kind of uh, and it begs the question for me too, when I meet people like that you want to say stuff to me, but are you open to me saying stuff to you? Because I can have a mean streak too, and I can turn a few phrases here and there. So, is that what we're doing? Like, are we gonna? Because if we're gonna go back and forth with each other, one of us is gonna leave here crying, and it's probably not gonna be me. You know what I mean? Like, so
Like I feel like I can take a joke, but if someone was like, "Hey, fat ass, get your ass over here. I just love you so much," I'd be like, "Okay." Like, and I feel
what
like
do you mean? Yeah,
that's what like Tony and like Peyton think. Oh, what are you talking about, Sarah? Why are you upset? We love you. Come on.
right.
Like, and I'd be like,
We show affection.
that's like that actually like ripped my soul out.
Right, right. Right. And that's the thing. It is also weird to me because at the same time, aren't they the same kids? Like, especially McKelty, I think she had complained at one time about being bullied and
Yeah.
people saying mean things. So you can say this is how we show affection and love in this family, but then complain that when you were a kid, you felt like you were being bullied. That's how y'all show affection and love, right? So
Yeah.
you can't walk on both sides of the street. So,
Well, and that is what a lot of the OG kids are saying. So like there was one episode where Christine had made comment. They were talking about, I think it was the one where we see Mary like disciplining the kids early, like season 3.
mm,
And they're talking about how, there's kind of been a hard time with the blending of Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna with all of the other kids. And Christine was like, I always looked at it like, oh, look, they're treating them like siblings. They're, getting on them and ribbing them and, whatever. So I think that the OG kids definitely view giving each other a hard time as like, you're one of us.
right,
And
right.
some of us have sensitive souls.
Well, because I think there's a difference. Like, I think there's also a difference between, how you treat your siblings versus how you would treat somebody who is a parent or somebody who is in a parent equivalent role. You know
True.
what I mean? Like, I wouldn't treat my parents' friends like they're my friends. So
Yeah.
there are things I would say to my friends that I wouldn't say to my parents' friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
even if I'm joking around with them, there's certain lines I just don't cross. But that's just me. Maybe in their family, it's all good to go. And if they like it, I love it. I mean, if you guys all get along and this is what you do, then that's what you do. You know what I
What's
mean? But
so
it's
funny
just weird to me.
is like, how did a Peyton and an Aspen grow up in the same household? Like some
Yeah,
of
yeah.
these kids, personality wise, are so wildly different. It's so fun. But then I think like my brother and I are very different personality wise. But
Mhm.
like, that is a wild spectrum of personalities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I mean, you also got to figure too, because they are like they're basically generations in a household because they're
Yeah,
so
you're right.
far
Yeah.
apart age wise, and
Yeah.
there's so many of them that the proximity to each other is actually pretty far.
Yeah.
So these are like kids in a classroom as opposed to kids growing up in the same household. But
Yeah.
we got something from Kikaliko.
Oh, thank you. Thanks,
Uh,
girl.
Kika was a $20 super chat. Uh, the only issue I have with Christine have is Christine loudly and proudly saying she doesn't care about what her kids think. Truly, clearly is having an issue. What would taking a taking it a little slower, at least in front of them, matter to you? That's a good point. What do you think about it?
Yeah, and I'm gonna have a video coming out on this tomorrow about basically about Truly because I've seen a lot of like online chatter about, and I think even like Pop Psych did a video about like Truly's reaction. I actually view this as a positive thing, and I'll tell you why. Because Truly was never comfortable around Cody. And I've pulled a few clips that will show like just how awkward and strained their relationship always was from the very beginning. She would never feel comfortable enough around Cody to go up and break up PDA between Cody and Christine if she ever witnessed that.
Mhm.
It says a lot to me about David, her comfortability around David, that she's even willing to be like, cut that out, you guys. Like, I don't want to see that. Do I wish that Christine would like actually listen to that? Yes. But I think that there was like a TikTok that I saw that was like, having loud kids is actually indicative of having like healthy kids because they feel safe to be loud around you. Like if your kids are screaming and they seem like they're out of control or whatever, like that don't fret, think you're a bad parent because that's actually like a good thing because your kids feel safe around you to kind of act that way. And that's
Right.
not to say like that's true across the board or anything like that, but I think I think Truly feels safe enough to express herself in front of David. I think that's incredibly healthy.
Right, right. Well, I mean, she is expressing an opinion.
Yeah.
I think that
And I think
the
Christine should
only
listen to it.
right, right. Like, I think that's it. I think the only thing that I can criticize in that situation is one, the kids have to at the same time you have to take your kids' feelings and everything into consideration, their emotions into consideration. Um, but at the same time, you want to make sure you balance that with telling your kids or showing your kids that you too have feelings and emotions, hopes, dreams, and aspirations that don't necessarily revolve just around them. That you can love beyond just where the confines of I'm your parent and this is all I'm good for. Because
Yeah.
Christine is more than just Truly's mom, and she deserves to have happiness in her life, which includes romance. So I think that it's a hard thing to watch. Well, I say it's easier to watch and criticize than it is to live and walk because
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
fine line to try to balance it out. Like you know what I mean?
It is way easier for me to sit in judgment rather than work on my own shit. I mean,
Right, right, right. Like I'm not criticizing anybody. I'm just saying like
yeah.
I can see both sides of the like I see both sides of it.
Yeah.
That's all.
And it's like,
You know.
Do I want to watch my parents make out? No.
Right.
But like, I mean, when I lived in New York and I would have to ride the subway, you see all kinds of walks of life and people full on like full on the subway, right? And
Mhm.
it's like, do you have to do that? And I don't even know these people, but it's like, I guess I don't begrudge them that, but it's like time and place, I guess. I don't know.
Right. Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
I think truly was just conveying like, come on, you guys. Like it's enough that I have to see you guys do that around the house. Like, can you kind of contain it for while we're out in public?
Right. Right. Well, here's something I never really considered, and maybe I'll have to make a video about it too. Like the one thing I never really considered is because Cody had been so repressive with regard to Christine, like he cut her off
Yeah.
physically. So
He
it
used it
could be
as manipulation.
right, right, but it
Yeah.
could be argued that because he cut Christine off physically, that truly growing up in that household never was really exposed to her mom, not only not being physical with her dad, but she had her mom to herself.
Yes.
And growing up in that spoiled atmosphere, now all of a sudden she's in a position where for the first time in her life, she genuinely has to share love, attention, and affection of her mom with another human being.
Yeah.
Somebody who is, in the space constantly and consistently.
Yeah.
So that could be part of the struggle that truly is actually going through. It's not so much that, she's disgusted that, Christine is hooking up with a man. She's just disgusted at the fact that Christine is showing time, attention, and affection to somebody else other than her. And Christine
I
has to
that,
balance
but
everything out.
I 100% buy into that. Yeah.
Right.
Because it has to be hard. I mean, I don't know firsthand. My parents are still married, but I think if people grow up with like a single parent and then that parent meets someone, like you lived your whole life, just you and your parent. Maybe you have a relationship with your other parent, maybe not. I don't know. But like you only know your primary caregiver as single. That has to be
Right.
weird. And that's essentially what Truly knew is that her mom was a single mom.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And that's the weird part about it. Unfortunately, you can see a lot of that in situations where play itself out in situations where the custodial parent, in some cases, I'll say it's the mom for now as an
Yeah.
example, will
Yeah.
be raising a child, and dad will have girlfriend after girlfriend after girlfriend after girlfriend, and it doesn't affect the child at all. But then as soon as mom finds this guy and she feels comfortable, dating him in secret,
Yeah.
and she feels comfortable bringing him back because he's secure and he's gonna be the guy. Now all of
Yeah.
a sudden, little Junior got a problem with Mr. Steve showing up. So I can see that situation.
Yeah, because I mean, if one parent proves maybe that they're less serious or like so like if I remember I had a family member that when I was younger had a lot of boyfriends. And then
Mm,
she ended up getting married when I was like 13 years old. So it was I met a lot of her boyfriends and it was like, will she ever get married? Maybe, maybe not. So it's like you never really took who you were meeting. Like, okay, nice to meet you. You're a lovely person, right? And like, we'll see how long you last, type of thing.
right, right,
So yeah, I could see someone having like two parents and having one of them maybe they're dating a lot and they're just not taking it seriously, but the other parent never dates. And so now all of a sudden they're getting married. Ooh, what's happening to
right,
the world?
right, right, right. But let me give Kika Leak a little something, something.
Pew, pew, pew,
Yeah,
pew.
yeah. Thank you, Kika Lika. Um, let me just see if we have. Let me give one more so we can. Oh wait. Oh, got a couple. Uh, Randy Chapman, Kidwell, $20 super chat. The kids are interesting because they can be dramatically different. I
Yeah.
think Fleur truly is seeing what it's really like to have a father around. Yeah, and that's got to be a shell shock too.
Yeah.
That's got to be a shell shock too. Let me give another one to Mary Harmon, 489 Super Chat.
Thank
Thank
you.
you both for keeping us palms up to date as we are 2 weeks behind. Loving the chat. Enjoy all your videos.
The one thing I want to like put out there to like the TLC, Discovery Channel, Warner Brothers, whoever is like, if you're gonna make us wait till like the time of, and then you're not gonna play it on Max till the day after, and all this bullshit, can we at least get it at the same time in all countries? Like, why?
Mm,
Like, why? Why do some
right.
people have to wait like that? That
It's silly.
sucks, man. I'm
Right.
sorry,
Right.
Mary. And I think
That's
someone said
them.
in Australia they're a couple weeks behind too.
Right. That's them dropping the bag. That's what
Yeah.
they call that. Dropping the bag. Habitual bag droppers. Thank you so much. And we have Kika Lika once again with the $10 super chat. I'm down for I'm down for hornball Christine as a 36-year-old, but her teen daughter vomit with
Yeah.
an impending stepfather. Don't tell me you don't care about my feelings. They're
Yeah.
going to watch her say that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent point. Yeah. Like there are so many times, and you would think that because all of these adults are guilty of it. Cody is probably the worst offender, but like of saying things, and it's like, don't you think of the children? Think
Right.
of your family members who are your real life family members. Think of what they're gonna think when they watch this back potentially. And I feel
Yeah.
like we think about that more than they do.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's TV blindness. Like I think that they've been on the show for so long
Yeah.
that they just grown accustomed to saying a bunch of stuff on the couch and then just leading their lives that they don't see the real damage that's done with these words. Like words hurt more than just like, oh, that was a sick burn you did last week.
Because
Like
he
they're carrying this.
didn't mean it like that, but it's like you still said you don't give a fuck what I think. Like you're gonna do
Mm.
whatever you want anyways. And it's like, damn, mom, like really? you know?
Well, you know what? It's funny because kids learn from their parents, and so or learn from that example. So you can't be mad that if you turn around and she's 17 years old and she meets little Bobby, Rotten Crotch down the street, and Stevie Nasty Pants, and all of a sudden, they want to start doing things. And you trying to tell them like this is what you do, blah 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 blah, and she looks you right in the face and say, "I don't care what you think. I'm gonna do what I do because I feel the way I feel about him, and I don't care what you think." So you're kind of, I mean, as much as I hate to say it, like you're kind of setting the stage, or for your own like comeuppance, like you're laying it out. So if you hear that in the future, it's because you said it to them first, like something to
Yeah.
think about,
Yeah.
you know. But let me give them a little something, something. All right, all right. Yeah. Okay. But just wrapping that up, like the whole thing with David, like they picked the rings out. I thought the ring scene was it's strange that they have a place to get married, but they're not yet engaged. And they're already picking out wedding bands, but they're not yet engaged. So I mean, cart before the horse, but hey, live your life. Live
So
your life.
like just propose, David. Like what the fuck? so like
Right.
I get it seems like he has this grand plan and like just like logistics are making things go out of order, but it's like so just propose with no ring,
Right.
propose with so that it's not weird when you go venue shopping and Christine has to tell the person that you're not even engaged yet. Give her a yarn ring like Cody did to Robin.
You know what? And I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm gonna call it now before it happens. When they air the episode where David proposes, I don't really want to see a whole bunch of surprise. maybe tears will be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
don't pretend to
Oh,
be
oh, you
surprised that he
don't act
proposed.
shocked. Yeah. I and
Yeah.
again, I was listening to Ace and Caitlin today, and Ace was like, "Why was Christine surprised she was going ring shopping? You just booked a venue." Like he wanted to take me jewelry shopping, and then he said a ring, and I was like, "Oh, a ring!" Like
I'm getting married.
I
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
expected that. Like, please,
Really? Yeah. Let's not go down that road.
yeah.
Um, but just to get through like the so we get to the juicy juice.
Mhm.
The whole thing with Mary, like I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to Mary last night, but just to give Mary her flowers, Mary, the one thing that she said that I felt was very interesting and relevant and poignant was when she said that if they don't want you at their table, set your own table. Talking about like the family not really wanting her around and her making her own way. And I think that that's exactly what each one of the wives is going through now. Like they realize that they're no longer welcome at the big brown family, the big picture, the big brown family picture. So they're creating their own memories, their own lives. And I celebrate that. So
Yeah,
I think that was cool.
for sure.
The the little house was nice, but I thought that that was like the key moment. And it was nice to see Jen back on the show.
It
Welcome
was
back,
nice
Jen.
to see Jen. It was nice to see Mary happy.
Right.
And yeah, I definitely thought that was, but it's like Mary has all these isms and all these sayings and all these words to live by. I hope that she's
Mm,
actually living by them because it's like
right.
she can plaster worthy up all up which ways and Sundays, but like, are you walking the walk or are you just talking the
Mm,
talk, you know?
right. You selling books or you living the life? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm with you on that. And I hope she is, because to be
I,
honest with you, I think this is her season. Like I think this is Mary gonna be Mary's breakout season, which will be funny in two respects. One, good for you, Mary. You got a breakout season. But on the flip side, the dog James, I look at it and I say, Robin and Cody have been trying to have this moment since this show started. Like they've been begging and pining and trying to rehabilitate their image since this show aired. And now Mary, the most hated person in Cody's eyes, is about to surpass him and be able to achieve something he couldn't achieve. And to that, I say, bravo, Maddie, bravo.
good for you, girl.
Right? That'll be right there with for me. That her achieving that will be right next to Janelle getting the release from the church, because I
See,
know it's gonna burn Cody's ass up.
I saw a YouTube video that was saying like, why is everyone um like encouraging Christine and Janelle to get releases? Because that would mean they'd have to like go back to like confront like all the abuse that they've suffered. But I'm like, I don't think it's really all, it could be less serious and just petty, in my opinion. And I
Right, right,
love that for because the fact is it doesn't have to matter to Janelle or Christine. The only thing it has to matter to is Cody. And if it matters to him, get the release.
right. Burn them down. Like and the whole thing is that you get the release because you want it to be clear and established. Like everybody talks about how we'll get into it in like I guess now right after these super chats, but everybody talks about Janelle kind of wanting Cody back and kind of playing to Cody. This
Yeah.
is her way of saying, look, relationship is over, we're done, it's finished, goodbye, because we have the release. This is their form of divorce. And that way it's crystal clear for Cody exactly where Janelle is. As long as she doesn't have the release and she's single, he can play the I can go back anytime I want to game with her. And I think she's tired of it. This is the way for her to get out of that too. So,
Yeah.
but two super chats real quick, and then we can get in Janelle and the big confrontation above the the uh, the little restaurant.
Yeah, the,
Randy
like,
Chapman.
attic restaurant.
Yeah, the attic.
I miss Salsa Brava.
Right. Everybody were like, no more of that.
I
No more. No more the Brown family breakups and next to the breadstick bar. So
They do not tip well, those brands.
right,
Yeah,
they probably did. Like it was probably so
you
crazy.
know they did it. You know they did
Right.
it.
They were like, oh, 102, 102.
Yeah,
But
it's
Randy Chapman
generous, that's
Kidwell,
for sure.
right? Randy Chapman Kidwell, $20 super chat.
Thank you.
The kids are interesting. Thank you so much. The kids are interesting because they can be dramatically different. I think Poor truly is seeing what it's really like to have a father around. I think you're
Yeah,
right. Day to day father. Like every day, go out, leave the house, come home, dad's still there. Like what's going on? And so
yeah,
it's probably blowing our mind. I'm glad. I'm for that respect. I'm happy for
yeah.
her. Kika Lika wants the game. $5 super
Cute.
chat. Thank you so much, Kika Lika. Been married 10 years. Him. When are you going to marry me? Me buying a ring. Then we picked out a ring. Got married 6 months later. LM let my ass off. So she, so
You
they
know
were
what's
together.
funny? And as like when I read my comment section, sometimes, all we all get in this mindset, and I think we all are guilty of it, of we think what's normal for us is normal for everyone. And
Mhm.
I just saw a bunch of people say, I know 2 or 3 people that uh never got like officially engaged, they just got married. So like
Mm.
that's not weird for
Right,
everybody. And so who cares, right? Like who cares?
right,
Should I
right,
get should I care that Christine is going wedding venue shopping before she got engaged? Probably not. Like, why do I care?
right. Well, they knew they were getting married, so it is what it is.
Yeah, like she definitely knew it was headed that direction. Now it would be weird, and you always cringe when you see people that get like publicly proposed to, and then the person says no, and then it's like, why would
Right,
you do that? Like, you have to know it's a solid yes if you're gonna do something public. Like,
right. Well, the guy stays down, like, get up, man, get up, get up.
yeah, like bro, like
No,
come on.
it's not. Don't look curious. Don't look like you hurt. Just get up.
Yeah.
Act like it was a joke. Just kidding. Let me give you guys a something, something. So we hit the highlight of the evening.
Woo.
Janelle and Cody at the attic, where where Cody comes in. He looks Janelle right in the face and said, "What's the occasion?" Um, and she said, I brought you out here to talk about the property." And Cody
All
did some
business.
ass shifting.
All business.
Yeah. So what did you think about like when she asked him about like she brought up the property, and then Cody was basically like, if they had stairs, Cody could have ass walked his way right out of that place where he was shifting around in that chair. He could have kicked his leg right over his head and walked out on his behind because he was shifting around so much in that seat. What did you think about like how Janelle just straight up approached him about like the property and the money?
That clearly caught him off guard. He thought
Hmm.
that he was going to walk in there like hair flip, flash a smile, and he was going to disarm her with his charm. And that didn't happen. And I think he was like, he didn't know what to do with himself. He was
Right,
like, wait, you're skipping to the end. Like, what about, and he's sitting in his couch confessional going like, none of us want to get back together with each other, but like I gotta say it because I can't afford to pony up to pay her out of this property. Let's get real
right,
about why he's suggesting they stay together. Him saying that Janelle, or he feels like he needs to get back with Janelle in order to have a relationship with his kids is such BS. Like,
right.
that really is an indicator to me that he really doesn't know his kids at all, because the actual kids that have left the door open for him are all Christine's kids. And she left.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
he's not trying to get back with Christine. He's telling
Right.
the whole world how much he hates Christine. And still, like, Aspen went and hugged him at McKelty's baby sprinkle. Like,
Right. Right. Well, because I think that there's a point too where you just have two separate kids, like two separate groups of kids. Like Christine's kids weren't treated as well as Janelle's kids. Like I don't think, and so he has a little more um, runway with them. But when it comes to Janelle's kids, you're not going to be able to con your way back into their lives using their mom. Part of the reason why I think he has such difficulty with Janelle's kids is because they see him as using their mom. So you using their mom to try to get with them is not going to, like, you're just making a problem worse. And the fact that he got on TV and admitted that that's why he was trying to get back with him was completely ridiculous. Because to be honest with you, when he said that they were going to meet and he started talking about getting back together, that's one of the first things I wrote down. It was like, oh, he's probably just doing this because he wants to get back with the kids and he doesn't want to pay any money. And sure enough, that's exactly what it was. You
mm-hmm.
know, but what is
And he says these things, and it's like, do you realize how insulting that is to like their like to Janelle's like intelligence, to her, like to that just shows how little you think of her as a person. It's so demeaning. Like, he really doesn't view any of these women, not even Robin, as being like equal to him in his humanity. Like, he thinks
Mm,
that he is above them. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he thinks because he's a man, but I think he just thinks that he's better. I think he thinks
right.
that he did a favor marrying Christine for sure. Probably I think Janelle too. And I like it. He thinks that he's this like prize
Hmm. Yeah, he thought he was going to hair flip his way back into a heart. And
for
the whole like
sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
the whole when he sits down and he hits her with a smile and hey, how you doing? He
yeah,
thought he was going to charm her. So it's not that he doesn't take her. One, he doesn't take her serious,
yeah.
but two, I think he capitalizes off the fact that she's easygoing. Like she's the one that goes along to get along, and he doesn't see her as hyper aggressive with regard to anything that is happening within the family. So he thought that he could just sit there, bullshit her a little bit, throw some cute barbs, talk about maybe they'll get back together. She'll melt, and then she'll go back with him because it would be easy to do. The conversation she had with him is a very hard conversation to have, you know. And I think that that's where he was got stuck.
What I love is when she said to his face, she said this to his face, right? That I don't think that we exist in the same universe or something.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
right,
Shit like that gets under Cody's skin. That's the kind of stuff he'll like hold on to and like marinate on later. It's like, oh, she said that we don't exist in the same universe. When he said in his interview that Janelle has the victim card and she likes to play it, I'm like, you
mm,
clearly don't know this woman at all. We don't actually know Janelle in real life, and we know that Janelle, out of all of the people on this show, is probably the least likely to play the victim card. What
right,
you just said. She's so chill. She's so easygoing. She goes along to get along to her own detriment a lot of the time.
right, right, right. And I want to take a moment too because he used the term like a victim card.
Yeah.
The thing that burns me up if I if I walk into a store and or I'm hanging out tomorrow night, I go to the local tavern and I'm having a few beverages, frosty beverages, and one of the guys in the place, gets it, starts talking wild, turns around, picks up a stool and hits me across the back with it. What am I in that situation? I am the victim of a crime. I'm a victim of a crime. And
Yeah.
it's not a shame for me to say, look, this dude assaulted me. He did something wrong to me. I've been victimized in the situation. It's not wrong for Janelle to say, in this situation, I was with this man. I was committed to him. I was committed to the family. I gave them everything I had financially to provide for him and the family, and he took advantage of me. I was victimized in this situation. And for her to describe what happened to her is not her playing the victim. That's her telling you what happened to her. And so like the whole like, oh, she threw the victim card and this, that, and other. I don't buy that. The second thing, Janelle said something with regard to being dismissed. And I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree that Cody dismisses her by saying that she's a victim and calling her this, that, and other. But that doesn't come from the fact that she's a victim. That comes from the fact that he doesn't respect you. Let's
Yeah.
call a spade a spade. It is what it is. Like he doesn't respect you because nobody is going to say, like I said, if Cody got jumped, I'm not going to sit there and be like, yeah, dude, why you keep talking about it? When he sits there and talk about how these women abandoned him and they weren't loyal, none of his friends, I'm sure, are sitting there saying, dude, why are you playing a victim? They should, but why none of his friends are saying that to him? You know what I mean? It's just that like he doesn't respect Janelle's he doesn't respect Janelle's position, and what's worse is he doesn't respect her suffering, and I think that that's where a lot of the problem comes in.
And I can't believe he sits there with all of the audacity in the world and accuses Janelle of playing the victim card when he literally has said to our faces with a straight face that he faced the Grim Reaper when he had
Right.
COVID with a 99.8-degree fever. I have no doubt he felt shitty. Do I think he
Right.
faced the Grim Reaper? No, I don't.
No, no. If you faced the Grim Reaper, you would have faced the Grim Reaper at a hospital. You would have been admitted. Like you weren't admitted. You went to the hospital. That's the crazy thing. Like
Yeah.
I had COVID too. I had COVID, I think at least two, maybe three times.
Yeah.
And because I was apparently I was silly and reckless, even though I was safe as hell. It's
No,
crazy.
it's my mom has gotten all the vaccines, boosted, blah 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 blah, and she's had it like 3 times, and she's always mad. Like some people, it's just freaking unlucky, man. Like, I
It
don't
just
know.
finds you. It
Yeah,
finds you.
you're
And
just
I'm
always
one of
in
them
the
people.
right place where someone just sneezed just so and it. Yes,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, that little particle hit you right in the forehead.
yeah. It's
But
like, yeah,
I got it. But
yeah,
when you get it, you do feel like crap.
yeah.
You
It
feel
makes
like
you
you
real
know this
shitty.
is it. You sick,
Yeah,
but you're not going to die.
no,
And I said this last night. It depends on how you are when you get sick. Because I heard stories from Christine and from the other ladies that when Cody gets sick, he lays in the corner and it's the end of the world. And if you're that kind of person, then yeah, you get a little bit of you're a little under the weather. You feel like the Grim Reaper is knocking at the door. But you went to the hospital with Robin. They admitted Robin, I think, because she has one of the preconditions. So they admitted Robin, and he sat in the parking lot and cried how they wouldn't admit him. And I said
right.
it
Wasn't
yesterday.
he trying to like con his way into like getting
Yeah,
it?
he was trying to get in there. And I said it yesterday. I think that Robin went into the hospital. She looked at the doctors and said, look, I am so tired. This man is killing my ass. Please just put me somewhere and let me sit down for a half hour. And
I
he's
got
like,
the
"I'm trying to get in
antibiotics for
there."
the kids. I just need a break from COVID.
Right. From him, from them kids. The kids are sick. I'm running all over the place. He laid up talking about he dying every 5 seconds. Please just give me 5 minutes, please.
But
And so
then
the
isn't
doctors
it
cut his
also
face short.
like alarming that like Robin can't even get treated medically without Cody like being right there?
Right, right.
Like,
That's
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 concerning.
yeah, that would be one of them that's just like an after school special. I'm gonna say it
That's a
that way.
red flag. That's a red flag.
Yeah, yeah. That's an after school special scenario where all of a sudden, she gets sick and he can't let her be in the hospital. Where I'm at in the state I'm in, they actually have a a thing where if a couple goes in, that well, even if you go in by yourself, they ask me. I'll go to the doctors. They ask me, "Am I scared to be home, or I'm scared? You know,
Oh,
is my home life uncomfortable?" So I know they ask the ladies,
yeah,
but
yeah,
they have the thing where they'll tell the ladies like, okay, we need a sample of urine or whatever. Because when I went with my kids, my wife to go with my kids, and they would send her into the bathroom, and you would go into the bathroom, and she told me when she came out, you close the door, and there's a sign on the door. If you don't feel safe, you can go out the other door
ah,
because the bathrooms have two doors. So
ah,
you go in like, oh, we need a little sample. They send her into the bathroom. If she doesn't feel safe, or she feels like she's scared, or she's being, taken advantage of, because we can't say the A word, but she's being victimized,
yeah,
she can go out the other door, and the cops will come in. I mean, it's a whole thing. But yeah, I like that's what I envisioned when he said that. She's in the hospital. I got to make sure I'm in the hospital with her. It's
yeah,
almost that point where I don't want her talking to the doctors by herself.
yeah.
You
Super,
know, right?
super disturbing.
Uh, yeah, I feel you. Because like I said, if it was my daughter and I heard that some dude was doing that, I would be hyper concerned. I would be very concerned. What do you
Yeah,
mean she can't talk to the doctors by herself? She don't
yeah,
need to clear it with you. You come and sit with me in the waiting room. She's fine.
yeah, yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But got a couple super chats. Let me get to these super chats. All right. Enough of that. We got Patricia Banks with $3 super sticker. Thank you so much for the super sticker.
No.
Appreciate you. Brittany, not Brittany in the house. What's going on? 489 super chat. Both Cody and Robin cried on the floor, but everyone else plays the victim. Yeah, right.
Right. Like Robin at 1 a.m., like that confessional before Christmas, and
Right.
Janelle is playing the victim card.
Yeah, right.
Robin
I
was like,
feel like
my
the idiot who got
character
left behind. Yeah, right. Problems. Then of course we have Kikalika once again, $20 super
is
chat.
generous.
Janelle, thank you so much. Janelle is always moving and growing and moving and grooving. She said multiple times she's down for the nights, but likes him being away. She keeps it keeps her ish in order. Make sure I get that right. Money and kids. The minute he turned against their kids, she was done. And I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, let me give you guys a little something. Uh, uh, Thank you so much. But yeah, I agree with that. Like, and that's one of the things that I think Cody is struggling with. Um, is those kids. Speaking of kids, what did you think of when Cody had started asking Janelle about Maddie? Because she said, we can sell a property. And he was like, well, when you think about moving on, it's like, well, I can either sell it, you give me the money, or I can move there. I think I'll take the money because then I can move with Maddie. And so he says, well, she didn't even call me and tell me she was pregnant. And then she goes, Janelle, to her credit, goes to the whole thing like Maddie, she feels a certain kind of way about everything going on and blah, blah, blah. And Cody tries to pull Janelle into the center, and Janelle drops the mic on his ass with this statement. She says to him, I don't want to be in the middle anymore. So basically telling Cody, if you have a problem or an issue with your kids, you need to call your kids. Count me the F out. Count me out of it. What did you think about like her putting her foot down in that particular way and telling Cody? And then
No.
like of course his response was, well, it's probably because of jealousy and gossip, which is
Well, I know I love that Christine and Janelle both are like Cody's anger at them is because they're not participating in covering for him for being a bad, like they're not shit talking, they're just not making excuses for him anymore. So
right.
all of these kids that are now adults if Cody was a present father and if Cody had a relationship with them, Janelle and Christine would not be able to influence their opinions of him. He is
Mm,
the one that killed this relationship. So I 100% agree with Janelle. Like, you want, like, it's up to you to fix things. I'm out of it.
right, right. In addition to that, though, I would say this is a direct result of something Cody had said to her before. Because if you recall, in season 17, when they were sitting out in back of Robin's house at the campfire, this is one of the last episodes before the tell all. He's standing there yelling at Janelle because she got it wrong, and he told her, "Don't stop going between me and my kids and trying to tell them stuff." When he yelled at her a few weeks later, for us, it was the next season, season 18 when he yelled at her in her house right before Christmas, and they had that big blowout fight. And he said that she was misconstruing everything that he had said and giving her kids the wrong information. So you already burnt her twice. There's the old saying. I said it yesterday. Trick me once, shame on you. Trick me twice, shame on me. Confucius, or in the words of George W. Bush, trick me once, shame on you. Trick me twice,
Don't trick
never
me
trick me again. Never trick me again.
again. Just don't trick me
Uh,
again.
right? And I see where Janelle had taken from those lessons. Like, you already blasted me out saying I got everything wrong. You know what? I'm done. I'm no longer in the middle of you guys. You want to figure it out? You figure it out. You have golden ant because those kids don't live in her house anymore.
No.
You know what I mean? You could pick up a phone and call them. They got their own houses, their own families, their own phone lines, and their own bills. If you want to talk to them, you can talk. I'm not stopping you from doing jack or shit. You know what I mean? So you can talk to them as much as you want, if you can, if you can.
Mhm.
You know. But I that was my favorite. Well, I won't say it was my favorite part because there was so many moments in there. That was just delicious.
This
But
whole conversation was. I'll watch a little open mouth kiss between Christine and David if every episode ends with Christine or with Janelle really laying the hammer down on Cody.
right, right. Yeah, because but you know what, that whole conversation, I'm gonna do a video on this, but the whole conversation actually reminded me of a man because last night Brittany, but not Brittany, was there. She could to it. That we had a few people who had said that Janelle might have been going back, susceptible to Cody and going back to Cody. But my impression, because I had to watch it again today, and my impression as I was watching it was they seemed more like the conversation that a young lady has after she had this guy who was her friend, and she's told him repeatedly, this is never going to happen. Me and you, we're going to be friends. Romance, not a thing. It's never going to happen. And then he comes to her, like they meet somewhere for dinner or lunch or whatever to hang out. And he comes in there and he proposes that he loves her once again. The look she had on her face was the face of like, huh? What do you mean you love me?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? No. Listen, we already talked
Just
about
like
this.
it's hard the like mood swings, the word vomit coming from Cody, it gives me whiplash because he's like, "What? You just want to break up? Oh, this marriage is terrible. Nobody wants to get back together."
Right.
I It's
Which
like
way
he
do you
doesn't want
go?
to be with them, but he doesn't want them to break up with him, and that just doesn't make any sense.
Right, right. And this is actually the point where you can look and see what Mary was talking about when she kept saying, like, he kept pulling her in, telling her one thing and then doing something else, leading her to believe one thing and then going back and changing the whole script around. Because like, even the whole idea of, oh well, I don't understand why we can't talk about us working things out, like we have a shot of working stuff out. Dude, if you were interested in working it out with her, you had 2 whole damn years to figure that out. She shouldn't have to call you up to try to figure out about her money. Then all of a sudden, oh, whoa, before we start talking about all the money I owe you, let's talk about us possibly getting back together. No, if we were going to do that, we should have did that months ago. That ship is already, that ship is sailed, it burned up, and it sank to the bottom of the bay. Like
Mhm.
that thing is gone. Like I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
I had no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he was looking forward to the crispy bank of Janelle. And at that time, it also begged the question: do you think Cody has the money? Like Janelle was like, I think you should try to buy me out. I want the money. Cody don't have no money.
Except for somehow he's getting money to put down on he's
Well,
getting
yeah,
enough
I
money
don't know.
down payments on new houses. I don't know.
What do you call it? Castle Crapola? What's the
What was it? The debt castle or something?
yeah, the dead
Yeah.
castle. Well, because that's the thing too. Because he put down 470. To even touch on that, he put down 470,000, which is 20% required for him to escape the PMI payments, like the mortgage insurance payments. So he put down a significant amount of money,
That's more
and I
than the
think that
whole house cost. Like that's what more than 100% of the price of my house.
like you got to pay your spot off. You should have called him.
He just put as a down payment on another house.
Right, right. So
Wow.
he's doing all right. Apparently, Cody and Robin are doing all right. And Luton, Dabsark, and Cody Brown LLC wasn't a bad career opportunity for the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so um, yeah, well, because I think all in all, what was your takeaway from like the episode? Like, were you excited about the episode, or is it just more of the same? Did you think that like you said before that you felt like you learned something a little new with the Janelle and Cody thing? What were
Yeah,
your thoughts about the episode as a whole?
yeah, no, I really liked the episode. My bar is in the trash. I like I some episodes feel like more filler than others. I feel
Hmm.
like this episode with Janelle, the conversation was juicy and I was into it. Um, but I think it's hard because they gave us the wedding special. It just kind of makes the Christine and David dating stuff kind of like, okay, well, like we've been there, done that. I feel like we can see it, but not so much time needs to be spent on it. But I've heard, and you can kind of tell that they've completely edited Garrison out of season 19. So I'm
Hmm.
sure that they have made certain segments longer. I think that's why we're getting scenes that feel like they were filmed more recently. Um, I I'm giving a little bit of grace to this part of this season because I think that they're working around things to make it to accommodate at least like Janelle's wishes. And so I'm cool with that. I'll watch
Hmm.
Christine and David make out more than we probably would have.
Getting their groove on, they're getting their freaking on.
Yeah.
Well, I think that for the most part, it kind of is what it is. I think for me, like the
Yeah. Yeah.
they do inadvertently, as long as you're paying attention and stuff. Like I think that they start to fill in some of the gaps. Maybe because they are trying to expand a little more, they're giving us a little more information that normally we wouldn't be privy to. Like for instance, hearing Janelle talk about the balloon payment is due on the property. The minute she said balloon payment, that put me in mind of balloon, what they would commonly refer to in those vernacular as a balloon mortgage or an arm adjustable rate mortgage, where you're only paying the interest on the property, you're not really paying principal, which means that by the end of the loan, you owe the principal on the property. Like you basically owe all the money. And
Mm.
so I with that, it explained a lot to me as far as how they consistently owe so much money on Cody Pass and why Cody is so desperately trying to avoid that conversation because it's a crap ton of money that they would owe if they've only been paying basically interest to the seller to keep the house from going on the market, but they haven't really paid him anything as far as the true value of the property.
Mhm.
Then you guys are kind of behind the eight ball. And that it makes it even more obvious that a lot of the money that Janelle and Mary contributed to Robin and Cody went to their house as opposed to going into Coyote Pass. So it
Mhm.
went into the private residence as opposed to the shared property. So I think that those kind of like little tidbits of information kind of make up for the fact where it might be a little more slow in other areas of the show, at least
Yeah.
for me.
And
Yeah.
we've been we've come this far. We're 19 seasons in. What are we gonna do? Give up? Nah. We're
Right,
not
right.
quitters.
Stop
We're not
watching.
quitters.
Right. And it's starting to get good because, like I said, Cody is actually at a point now where he's having to actually deal with a lot of the things that he put out. So he's
This
having to deal with the
we
consequences.
wanted to know. We want to know. I mean, cut to 2 years in the future to current times, they still haven't done anything with Coyote Pass. But now stuff is happening with the property. And Janelle did mention on the show that, I mean, not the property with Robin's house. Janelle did mention wanting to also have a hand in that. So
Right.
it makes me wonder, is she getting something out of it? It'll be interesting to see.
Right. Yeah. Especially when we look at how Janelle came up with the balance of the money for County Pass over the summer. What's the breakdown going to look like either for the property or for the house sale? Now that we
There's
know that the house sold, is Cody are Cody and Robin going to be like, okay, whoa, 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 before you do anything, we're going to slide you the rest of our money from the McMansion over to you because they have to do something with that money. And
yeah.
here's the crazy part, because I said this before, that with Christine suing Cody, if they don't do something with that the profit that they receive from the McMansion, like get invested in some kind of way or divested as far as the investors in that property. If they don't do anything with that money, that is income, and that goes into the calculation as far as how much child support Christine is entitled to.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that will go because that will become income. Like that's you just made $1.7 million. You had a $1.7 million year, sucker, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden your numbers, whatever you make, that qualified you guys for a house that was $2 million plus another mortgage. Whatever you guys were making, it qualified you for that. You just added $1.7 million on top of that. Your child support is going to be in freaking insane,
You
you
know,
know.
I'm
So
working to get like my self together financially for the end of the year because I like to be ahead of the game, but I can't imagine the numbers that they're talking about. It's like it like I think I'm gonna have to take a Tums before I go to bed because like it gives me heartburn.
yeah, yeah, the kind of money that they have to deal with, and especially with the income, especially without having like offsets for that income,
Yeah.
you guys are writing a check. Like
Yeah.
this is writing check money. Like instead of forget tax returns. Like I
Nah.
know we talk about like the government taking your tax return if you don't pay your child support. Forget tax return. Yeah, he's writing checks at the end of the year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come tax time, he's writing a check. So especially with that 1.7 million, you better figure something out with
Yeah.
that. Especially it's at the end of the. This is another thing I didn't think about that until just now. It's the end of the year, so it's
Yeah.
not 1.7. It's $1.7 million calendar year. So this year he made 1.7 million plus whatever he made. So he has to figure out what he's going to do so that and do it within the next few weeks because otherwise he'll get caught up in next year's taxes. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. More money, more problems though. Good for Cody.
Exactly.
We got one more super chat, and then we're gonna wrap this bad boy up. Thank you guys so much. You guys have been awesome.
Thank you.
Gigalika wants the game. The $10 super chat. I thought Robin wanted a relationship with these women. They are family. Why would they move and leave the state if Janelle built on Coyote poop pow?
I know. And Cody seems so like annoyed. He was like, "Oh, if you did build, you'd be calling me every week. We're married, bro. We have 6 kids
Right,
together. Of course
right.
I call you."
Is that a problem, Mister? What about us?
Yeah, it's
Shouldn't
like
you want that?
I thought you just said, "What about us?" And now you're saying you'd be
Right,
annoyed if I called you?
right, right. Oh, I don't want to have to deal with you. And that's part of the reason why we can't be together.
Yes,
That's that's it right
I
there.
don't exist in the same universe.
Right, right. I don't want to be a second class citizen in my marriage. What do you
Exactly.
mean? I would never treat you like that.
Yeah.
You're such a lunatic. Like it's such a lunatic. But it's just an example of if you have a man like this in your life, he's like a PSA. If you have this kind of man, return him to the store immediately.
You might be entitled to some compensation.
Right, right.
Entitled to some compensation.
Go rob him, cheat him, and how we will get you your money back. Like you, you have been bamboozled. Like,
Yes.
that is
Joe
insane.
certainly has been. Poor thing.
Yeah, yeah, he's been getting over on you ladies for too long. Don't let it happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Friends don't let friends Cody Brown. That's all. I mean, Let me give Kika Leak a little something, something. But yeah. But thank you guys so much. It was an awesome evening. Had a good time. What do you have coming up this week?
So tomorrow I'm gonna be talking about Truly. I want to talk about Janelle and this conversation. There was a lot to break down in this episode. What about you?
Hmm. Same thing, same thing. I really want to focus on Janelle. I'm probably going to talk about Mary a little bit, just with her breaking out position because, like I said, I've ran more than my fair share of running Mary down videos. So I'm gonna pay it back, pay it forward, and give her some
Oh,
flowers.
it's
Give her all that good stuff.
because especially Mary is so polarizing, and there'll be episodes when we're doing our when we go back in the vault and do our rewatches where I'm like, God, Mary was horrible. But then
Hmm.
like what she especially the last like 5 years, it's like I just want her to get everything she's entitled to.
Right, right. Yeah, because I think all of them, I think they've all suffered just in different ways,
Mhm.
and they all carry that burden differently. So I just want to see everybody, and even Cody and Robin, like they could they could adjust their situations. They don't have to be these people, but they're just kind of doing it to themselves. Oh, we have on Mitty just said something. Super sticker, 99 cents. Thank you
Yes.
so much for the super sticker. That's awesome.
And thank you to
Thank
our
you.
moderators, our wonderful moderators. I see
Right?
BCat, Kendra, Lizzie, the usual
Yeah.
suspects.
Right, right. Hold it down for us in the chat. We appreciate you guys doing all the hard work, all the heavy lifting.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. And we also appreciate the chat. Thank you guys for staying super chill in the chat, being positive, encouraging each other. I like the fact that we can come in and you guys are entertaining one another. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
Because the chat is funny too. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Let me give everybody a little round of applause, including Miss Aunt Minnie with the super. All right. All right. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully, you have a fantastic weekend. Make sure you subscribe to both channels. Hit that like button on your way out. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, hit the likes on the video so that way you get updated when we upload new videos. Make sure you guys stay super chill, to have fun, stay out of trouble. For Sarah, make sure you check her out on Reality Squad. I'm James. That's my take on reality. And guess what, y'all? We out. Have a good night.